Hi everyone, today I'm going to be introducing you to a brand new topper that I have been sent by Superhairpieces. Now this topper is called the P6814HP and I have her in the colour 14/24. She has lots of really fantastic features that we're going to talk about as we go through this video, so let's get started. So this is her straight out of the box. She is 100% Remy human hair, so it is incredibly soft hair, really very fine, but there's lots of it because the density of this is 120%, so you can see it's a really good amount of hair. This is perfect for anybody with sort of moderate to more severe hair loss, or for those of you that just want that additional volume and density to your own bio hair. The length of this is 14 inches, which for me I feel is a really perfect everyday long length. Not too long that it's going to get in the way, but long enough that you can still style it, pull it back in a ponytail, and just feel like you have long hair. So this colour is the 14/24. And I would describe this as a strawberry blonde with lighter blonde pieces running through. Now, if you're not sure what a strawberry blonde is, it's a very red toned blonde. You can see here, I'll do a close up. It's a very warm colour, and it's broken up by those lighter blonde pieces that are all the way around the topper, just evenly spaced out. There is no root on this particular one. I'm a fan of roots. I like a root because I think it helps to make the hairpiece look more natural, because let's face it, who doesn't have a root? Apart from the day that you step outside of your salon after having highlights done, pretty much after that you've got roots starting to grow through, because your hair is always growing. So I think that a root helps to make a hairpiece look that little bit more natural and look like it's growing out of your scalp. But this isn't the problem. Because this is human hair, I am going to probably add a root onto this, or get my stylist at my salon to do that for me, just to help make it look a bit more natural. But that's something you can do at a later date. So in the past, my previous topper from Superhairpieces was 10/16 in colour, and it was a really good match for my hair. For this particular topper, they didn't have my colour in stock, so we went with the 14/24 instead. I have to admit, I initially was concerned that it would be way off and just wasn't going to work, but when you hold it up to my hair, you can see that there are very similar tones running through my hair. There's definitely a lot of warmth in my hair, there always has been, to this topper. So you can see it's not a million miles off. It's actually quite close. Ignore the root, because the root is like my raw hair, unprocessed, lots of grey and probably mousy brown in it. But actually the ends, which you're going to see, are actually a really close match. The root up here, you're not going to see this because the base is going to sit on the top and all of that will be hidden. So it's not important that it matches up here. What's important that it is close or has similar tones to your own bio hair through the ends, middle ends section. And I think this does have enough of that. So that's really good. I wasn't expecting it to be as close as it is. So let's talk about the base. The base of this topper is quite a large base. It isn't the largest you can find, but it is a large one. It is 6 inches from side to side, and it is 8 inches from front to back, which will give you, those of you with sort of moderate to perhaps more severe hair loss, a really good amount of coverage. And it will cover an awful lot of the top of your head. Inside you can see around the perimeter is that sort of you can see a shiny material. This is a clear glass silk polyurethane perimeter. It's great in terms of durability, this material. The durability on this hairpiece is 6 to 8 months, whereas perhaps something with a completely lace base will have a more reduced amount of durability, just because the material is more delicate. This is a really sturdy piece, you can see. It's not rigid, it's still got a lot of flexibility, but it will provide a really durable base. The inside here is a double monofilament section. This should be really good in creating a natural looking part line through the middle, or wherever it is that you part your hair in that section. So there we go, you can have a look there. The front section here is a welded lace front, which should aim to create an invisible looking hairline. Now, I haven't used a topper with a front like this before. Usually I would use a lace front to create a very natural hairline. So this is a first for me. We'll see what this how this holds up in terms of creating a natural hairline as we go through. You can see around the perimeter at the sides and through the back that I have some clips added in here. Now, this doesn't come with clips already sewn in. This is something that I've asked Superhairpieces to do for me. You can ask for customised orders. Now, you can, if you want to, sew them in yourself. For me personally, I am a bit wary about doing it. I'm not confident enough that my sewing skills would be good enough to be able to do this correctly and do them securely. So I've asked Superhairpieces to do it for me. Now, I've got them in at the sides and at the back, and you'll notice that I don't have it in any clips in at the front. Now, the reason that is because if I was to add a clip here, there would be no hair for it to clip onto, because I have a receding hairline and no hair at the front section of my head here. So a clip here would be completely useless. The great thing about this polyurethane perimeter is it's really great for adding tape or glue, so that I can stick this section down onto my bald spot here. And you could do the same for any areas around this section here. You can add glue onto if you've got any bald patches that you would rather stick this onto. I don't recommend obviously using glue and to stick this onto hair. That is an absolute no-no. It would create a lot of mess and be really sticky, and would be hard to get off your own hair potentially, or potentially would cause a lot of damage to your own bio hair. But any areas that you don't have hair, you can use tape or glue to stick sections of this topper down onto. So there we go, that's the base. Okay, so the final thing to do is to obviously get her on and see what she looks like. Now, when I put a topper on, I always grab it by the front using my fingertips. I've got my thumbs here and my other fingers on the other side, and I take it behind me. At this point I have to reposition my fingers, so bring my thumbs underneath, my fingers on top, and then I will, making sure that my own hair is not pulling forward, I then pull it down to where I want my topper to begin. Now, a good test, if you're not sure where you want, if you've got no hair at the front and you want to get the right kind of placement for your topper, and you think, where should that hairline start, is to use the 4-finger test. So take 4 fingers, put them by your eyebrow, top of your eyebrow, and then just by your 4th finger should be where your hairline starts. So I've got this placed about right. Now, the other thing to do, yes, so it's placed about right. If it was too far forward, it would probably look a little bit silly, and obviously if it was too far back, then again would make my head look really large and wouldn't be hiding my receding hairline. Now the other thing I want to do before I actually start clipping it or gluing it down is I want to make sure that the clips are even as I go round. So I've got the first 2 clips, I can hold them here and I can feel that they are even. There's not one that's higher up, there's not one that's lower down, it's not wonky. And the same for the back. Just check that they are quite even. Now that's a good placement, I think. And another way to check that it's kind of evenly placed is by just pulling the lengths and making sure they're even. If your topper isn't put on evenly and centrally and is skewed one way or the other, you'll have uneven lengths. So I'll demonstrate. If it went like this, you would have one side shorter and the other side longer. And I mean, if it was too far forward, that again would probably look a little bit silly. And then for me, if it was too far back, again, would look a little bit silly. So you have to take some time to make sure that the positioning is right. Now, I'm just going to do that again. So those clips, 1. Yeah, there you go, so that's even. Check the length, they're about even as well. Perfect. Okay, so if yours is just clipping in, you can then start to go around and do the clips at this point. For me, I need to glue that front section down, so I'm going to get my glue. So this is the glue that I use, and this is called Ghost Bond. Now there are lots of other glues that you can use, or as I say, you can use tape, but this is the one that I'm going to use today. Now you can add the glue straight onto the topper, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the glue straight onto my forehead. And the reason I do that is because in the past, when I've added glue straight onto the topper and then brought it round over the back of my head and placed it down, it's quite difficult to see. And sometimes I've had that situation where I've placed the glue section down onto my own bio hair and then it gets all sticky and messy. So I'd rather not have that. So I'm going to just take a few dots of the glue where I know that topper's going to sit, and then making sure all of that hair is out of the way, I'm going to bring her round and place it. Before, you've got a bit of time before it dries, so just go around and check that those clips are even. You're happy with the placement, so those look even to me, so I think that's forward ever so slightly. And then once you're happy with the placement, I always put my hand on that section and apply some pressure and some heat as well, just to help that glue stick that topper down really securely. Now while I'm doing that, I'm going to start going around and clipping in the clips as well. Now a good tip for when you place a topper on your head is to make sure that the clips are closed, just so they don't catch in your own hair and snag your own bio hair, which can be quite uncomfortable. So you'll see that I'm opening up each clip and then securing it in. So I'm going to start with the front ones, opening them up and then pushing them into my bio hair. Opening that one. There we go. And then the final one at the back. There we go. There we go. And then she is, I would say, very securely on. That one at the back just there is hurting a little bit, just because I've obviously pulled in some hair too tightly. It doesn't need to be too tight. You don't want to cause damage to your own bio hair. Oh, I've done it again. So just make sure that you're comfortable with the way you've fitted it, because it's going to stay on your head for potentially the whole day or for a long period of time. You don't want it to be uncomfortable. And also, just if you don't feel like it's quite secure enough, don't be afraid to go back and redo it again, just because you don't want it to be moving around on your head during the day. You want it to be nice and secure. So I'm going around and just redoing a few of these because I didn't feel like they'd pulled enough of my own bio hair in. There we go. There we go. So she's on. Nice and even in terms of the lengths either side. So I'm really happy with the placement. Now, because she is straight out of the box, she's got lots of waves and kinks and flicks and things to her at the moment, and I want to straighten her out to match with my straightened hair underneath, my bio hair that is straight underneath. So I'm going to use my hot tools, my straighteners, to style this into the way that I want it to look. The first thing I'm going to start with though is some heat protection mist. I do want to try and prolong the fibres, the life of these fibres as much as possible. I'm going to give this piece a spray all over. And that's just to add some heat protection onto those fibres. Now I am using my straighteners set at 170, it's difficult to see, 170 degrees Celsius. This is human hair and it could withstand heat higher than that, up to 200, 220, which is what these go up to. But just with our own hair, the more heat you apply, the more likely you're to cause damage. So I've chosen to put this at 170 because I believe it will still straighten out as much as I want it to, and I want to try and prolong and cause as little damage as possible by choosing a lower heat. So I'm going to take each section, run through with a fine tooth comb and follow with my straighteners. Just to try and get all of those kinks out, and all the waves and all the flicks, just because I like a really straight, poker straight style with my hair. If I want to, I can add waves, curls, etc. using tongs, curling irons. I've chosen to do this on my head because the topper is really securely fastened onto my head, so I don't believe there's any risk of it moving around while I'm doing this. If you wanted to, you can straighten it, curl it, etc. while it's on a mannequin block. That's absolutely fine as well, but I feel quite confident doing it while it's attached to my head. Now the back section obviously is a bit trickier to get to when you're doing it on your head. I'm going to do the best I can. While I'm wearing it. There we go. She's on. The colour is gorgeous. Just as a reminder, this is 14/24, which is a very warm, reddy toned blonde with some lighter pieces running through. You can see underneath my hair, my own bio hair, is not a million miles away from this colour. Probably do need to straighten my hair out a little bit more. The length of my hair means that even if I do straighten it, it tends to try and flick all the time. But because of the density of this piece, it's got a good weight to it. So my own hair isn't going to flick up from underneath. So if I show you what it looks like all the way around, there we go, it's the front, side sections. My own hair isn't poking out from underneath, which is great. And the weight of this is just going to keep it from doing so. So, really beautiful colour, really soft. You can obviously heat style it if you want to. And as I say, I am going to add in a root to it at some point, just to give it a slightly more natural appearance. Now that parting is ever so slightly not quite necessarily where I want it, so I probably should have done this before I straightened it. I'm going to move it slightly. Like so. Now it doesn't give, it's quite a dense parting actually, it's quite dense, so it doesn't necessarily give the most natural looking part line here actually, but there are ways around opening it up, and I think one of the things I may well do is add in some product to kind of give the appearance of a more natural parting, so I'll go and get that now. So what I'm going to do just to open up this part a little bit more is I'm going to take a quite a light fleshy coloured eyeshadow on a brush. I'm just going to apply some of that product into the brush, and then I'm going to just dab it in along that part line. You can see, just to create the illusion of a bit more scalp through the middle. There we go. That creates just a slightly more natural look from the scalp. There we go. It's actually quite hard to see. I think because it's such a light root anyway, it's quite hard to see that product, and I'll probably do a demo of this technique when I've got a slightly darker root added to this, and you can see the full effects far better with the use of on a darker root. So there she is. Now, as I say, this is 120% in density, and it's a lovely density. It feels a really lovely weight. Feels like I've got enough hair for the first time in my whole life. So as I mentioned, the base that I've got on this one is different to the one I've had before. The one I had before was made of a French lace, so it was a really, really lightweight material. Not as durable, but very, very lightweight. This one has a little bit more weight to it, and I can feel that it's going to last longer. But it doesn't feel uncomfortable. It doesn't feel too heavy. It doesn't feel, at the moment, like it doesn't feel, yeah, it doesn't feel uncomfortable. It feels absolutely fine on my head. It doesn't feel odd or anything. I can feel it's there more, but it's still very comfortable to wear. Can see it's not moving anywhere. It's really well secured. In terms of the hairline, now this I think isn't necessarily going to create the most natural looking hairline. I'll show you why. You can see when I raise the hair back, pull the hair back, you can see a very straight line across the front. Now, if you've got your own bio hair and you're going to clip this in from just slightly back from your own hairline, this isn't going to matter. This is only really an issue for me because I don't have any hair along the front, and so I don't have a natural hairline to blend this topper with. But this is okay, this is absolutely fine. To be quite honest, whenever I'm wearing a hairpiece, a topper or a wig, 9 times out of 10 it's down. I don't want a beautiful piece of hair and tying it back so no one can see it or appreciate, and I can't appreciate it. I love having it down, being able to run my fingers through it, you know, to tuck it behind my ears. So yeah, so it's not an issue for me. If I want to wear, you know, the only thing I can't do is wear off the face styles. I can still pull it back into a ponytail like this, but just not pulling it back from the face, because otherwise that's when you would see that kind of harsher line there, and it would probably, or may lift slightly if I pulled on that hair pulling back. So yeah, there you go. So just a final reminder of the key things about this topper. This is called the P6814HP. It is 100% premium Remy human hair with a density of 120%. It has a clear glass silk perimeter on the base, followed by a double monofilament centre and a welded lace front. It's got a 3 to 6 month durability. That's if you're wearing it every day. If you're not wearing it every day and you're like me and you change your style and your hairpiece from day to day, it's going to last even longer, which is great. In terms of where this came from, this is a Superhairpieces piece. So Superhairpieces are a North American company, and they are the largest supplier of hair systems in North America. They will ship their pieces directly from there to you. They can customise orders for you with a 3-month guaranteed delivery. And they offer 100% human hair pieces only, so you can get toppers, wigs, toupees, extensions from them. Not just toppers, they offer a whole range of hair solution systems. They have a Facebook group that you can join for support, for tricks and tips about hair loss, and also for offers on some of their products. You can follow them on YouTube, and you can check them out on their website, which is superhairpieces.com. And if you want any other further support from them, you can contact them in a number of different ways. So you can contact them via email, via live chat, via text, or on the phone. So lots of ways that you can get in touch. My own personal experience of Superhairpieces, they have been incredibly helpful. I've gone to them a number of times regarding colour, regarding the product that I want, whether or not it's suitable for my hair loss situation. And although the people that you might speak to on the end of Instagram, which is where I reached out to, couldn't answer the question at the time, they went away and discussed it with their team, and came back and provided me with the most useful information. So yeah, a really supportive, really helpful company. And even though these products, I mean, I'm in the UK, and this product would reach me from shipping, would reach me within about a week, so delivery time's pretty quick if the item is in stock. So yes, so if you are interested in any hair systems from them, please go and check them out. And if you would like a discount on your first order, please have a look at my discount code, which is coming up next. Thanks for watching.